What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the D.O.G podcast. As always, I'm Drew with German and OC. And this week, we're going to talk about, you guessed it, some more football. We can talk a little bit about our picks from last week, some upcoming picks this week, who we thought was exceptional, how shitty we thought the Raiders were, and the firing of Josh McDaniels.
Let's start off hot, dude. Josh McDaniels finally out of a job. And so is their... So is their GM.
And their OC.
Jesus
They
Christ.
just went ahead and just cleared house. Go ahead.
Do you guys think, because McDaniels being fired is like, okay, that makes sense. You're a shitty-ass coach.
Right.
The GM being fired a few hours after the trade deadline leads me to believe that Mark Davis won, Adams gone.
I think he might have given him an ultimatum where he was just like, you either get these players out of here who aren't going to buy into your system, because it was clear that he had lost the locker room, right?
Right.
Like big time. And so that was probably the biggest reason why he got fired, is because he was probably asking around to the players, talking to the guys in the locker room, was just like, do you guys want him here? And they were like, no. So he probably went to them. He like, hey, these guys don't want you here. You either get them out or I'm getting you out. And that's probably what happened.
That's what I was thinking when they fired the GM. When I found out it was more than just McDaniels, I thought,
Right.
okay, they were supposed to move some people today, and they didn't move
And that
anyone.
didn't happen. What do you think, OC?
Well, I was just the whole player situation, right? Guys were like anonymous sources, like players within the
Like
locker
the
room.
leaks and stuff? Yeah.
Talking about like how bad it was and how guys didn't want to play hard anymore. It was pretty like eye-opening, especially as an owner. Like this is repetitive, like, you know, characteristics for a franchise.
Right.
It happens like every 3-4 years with them.
It's the same old cycle.
Yeah,
huh?
same cycle, and hopefully they can clean it up at some point. Because, I mean, you got a new location, you know, a new stadium. You're gonna host a Super Bowl. This is really like kind of like black eye for your franchise right now.
Well, the big thing too is you have to pay two guys $80 million for the next 4 years that aren't even working for you.
Yeah, you got to pay Gruden's staff. I don't think they're completely paid off, and then they signed this guy to a 6-year deal, so they have 4 years left to still pay him.
They're going to be bringing in the Super Bowl money pretty soon, in a few months, so that's going to help.
Yeah. So what? You break even? I'm
pretty
sure you'll have
much.
money, but it's like
You
how many times are you gonna come in, bring a coach,
Well, that's maybe
fire him, and then you still have to pay him even when he's not even coaching for you?
Okay, we're getting into some conspiracy theories. You think he dips into that Las Vegas money at all? His basketball team that just won a natty?
That's true. They just won a championship. Well, I mean, also too, you got to think about how, okay, yeah, you're paying these coaches all that money, but you're also paying like Devontae Adams all this money to have one reception on Monday Night Football.
So I saw that, right? One reception. I thought, man, well, 1 reception, 3 targets. He led the team in targets with 7.
But I mean, Jimmy's throwing
that's
balls
so
at
bad.
his feet over his head. I mean, there was one on a 3rd down that was like pretty critical where Devontae
like off his forearm
did drop it.
Yeah.
I was like, that was a drop. But I mean, that's just sums up the rest of the year, right?
Yeah.
And that it's not just the one game. It's been like that. I mean, how many fantasy owners are like completely disappointed in Devontae this year?
Well, when your guard or your right guard is rated the highest player on your team, that just tells you
a problem.
Yeah, everything you need to know
And when
about
you have
how
like
that game went Monday.
probably the best running back in your backfield.
Yeah,
from
last year the leading rusher in the league, right? And then this year it's like he can barely get over 50 yards.
Right. So at what point do you start pointing fingers at Mark Davis? I mean, the incel-ass dude he feels like he looks like the product of incest to me. You know what I mean?
Well, he kind of does.
With that hairdo and everything.
I think a lot of the blame goes to the GM too, right? I mean, he's the guy bringing people in, and his big replacement for Derek Carr was Jimmy G.
Right.
He landed Devontae, but took a fat shit when it came to landing a quarterback.
But Josh McDaniels was the guy who pushed out Carr.
True.
Right? Like they treated Carr like as a scapegoat.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think that we got to point that many fingers at Davis. He fired the guys that were in charge of all that.
But he's the one that hired them.
Understandable, but I mean, you know, I guess if he's got the power Jerry Jones got, then yes, that makes a bunch of sense.
Right.
But I don't know. Maybe he's like, hey, I'm gonna hire you guys. You guys do it the way you want to do it, and then that's it.
Does he? I mean, how do you get rid of Davis? Right, because he's the owner.
Can't.
Do
You know what I'm starting to think? He's like Dan Snyder. Like
he's up there, just not as toxic. Maybe
he doesn't have
I mean,
the issues. I mean, they've had issues within the organization, but I'm talking about like franchise. Like, how long has Washington been like incompetent?
Yeah.
That it's like it's a recurring cycle. Like
2013
Washington.
was their last good year.
Right.
Yeah. See, it's been like 10 years. Like it's the same thing, you know.
Right.
Over
well,
and
I
over.
mean, they made the playoffs 2 years ago, and then McDaniels was supposed to be the guy to come
With
in
our boy Bisaccia.
with Bisaccia. Yeah, and then he was supposed to be the guy to make things better, and he made things way worse just in a span of a year and a half. That's insane, right? And so, at what point do you start? I mean, does he like step down? Maybe give his responsibilities to somebody else? Does he completely sell it? I mean, I know like Tom Brady was supposed to be the guy to come in and be a partial owner. That's probably not going to happen, right?
But what are his responsibilities if you got a GM?
Well, I mean, you got to put the GM in. You got to hire the right GM. You got to hire the right head coach. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's other things behind it. Like,
he is not going to sell anytime soon. I mean, he's sitting on a cash cow right now in Vegas. He's gonna be bringing so much money.
Plus all the teams that travel there. It's a destination game. How many guys are traveling from across the country to go? Like, I will go to a game in Vegas. And right.
Those fans are loyal to the Raiders.
They'll stay loyal.
They still buy the gear.
Well, we talked about it how the Chargers lost all their fan base because they moved a city over, and they moved a whole state over, and they arguably they gained
because now they
fans.
took over Nevada. Yeah.
So. Chargers fans were terrible to begin with. Raiders fans have always been loyal. I mean, the Raiders have been so bad for so long, and yet somehow the fans are always there.
Yeah, it's still Raider Nation every Sunday, no matter what.
But that is Bay Area fans. I feel like Bay Area fans are pretty solid through being shit.
But the Raider fans, I think, are if as delusional, if not more delusional than Cowboy fans.
Yeah, but the difference is the Raider fans know they're bad. Like, they accept it.
I wouldn't call the Cowboys bad.
I didn't say they're bad, but like Raider fans like accept that they're bad. You know, they're poorly run.
So what are Cowboys fans supposed to accept for this team?
No, I meant like they're not like delusional about it. Like they know.
Like the Cowboy fans, yeah.
It's not their year every year. Is basically what I'm saying.
They lose by 32 points. Like, dude, these refs suck. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I just, as a fan, you don't go into the season and be like, well, you know what? I hope we go 500.
Okay.
Some franchises do.
So, the Niners for a while, dude, when we were like in the early 2000s, like it was like maybe we'll make the playoffs this year.
About my boy Mike Nolan like that.
Oh, Mike Nolan, dude. That's the thing is like with Niner fans is like, I know Cowboys fans have always been like these up and down seasons, right? But you guys pretty relevant year in, year out, right?
We're always relevant. We win 3 games.
I only mentioned Mike Nolan because I used to like his game day fit.
Oh,
he'd be like suited
the
up.
Suit on the side. That's what I was like. I knew we were ass when he was like, I'm going to wear a suit like my dad. I was like, dude, that's what you're fucking worrying about. Now let's try to get Alex Smith to play competent. Like, yeah, it was pretty bad. But I mean, the saving grace was that for the Niners at one point was Jim Harbaugh. Does he step away from Michigan with all those issues going over there? Does he take the job in the NFL again? Because I feel like the Raiders can be like, they should be relevant, right? Like the fan base, like, yeah, they're like up and down, but they can almost be like the AFC version of the Cowboys, where it's like you either like them or you hate them. The fact of the matter is that everybody in the media is always talking about them, right? And they're always relevant.
Whether it's good or bad.
Whether it's good or bad. And I feel like, I mean, maybe Vegas is probably the perfect city to do that in, to have a franchise. Who do you bring in?
That's a good question.
Yeah. Lincoln Riley?
Do you move him over? Give him a shot?
You move him over? And you draft Caleb?
Don't draft Caleb.
It depends who you hire at GM, too, because are they going to let the GM pick the coach, or is Mark Davis going to have his hand in it?
Do this all over again, right?
See, that's where you see these issues. I know the OC from the Lions was getting a lot of talk last year, but he decided to come back. I think it's Ben Johnson.
Right.
And he's doing another
fantastic job over there.
So that's one candidate for sure.
Oh, for sure.
The OC from the Bengals?
I thought
Zach Taylor calls the plays over there.
I don't know if Zach Taylor calls the plays or not.
I'm assuming he does.
Who? They were I only know this because they were hyping him up a bunch during the Niner Bengal game.
But I mean, so you have Lincoln Riley, Cliff Kingsbury's still out there. I mean, I don't know if you bring him. He's not coaching right now. I mean, and then you draft Caleb. I mean, there's that connection there, that Oklahoma connection.
But that's only if you draft Caleb, right? Or if he falls to you.
And that's another thing is, like, are they going to have to still trade away guys for the next offseason? What do you do with Devontae now? Because, I mean, you bench Jimmy. He's obviously not the answer. And so, but it's kind of weird how they're doing to him what Josh McDaniels did to Carr last year.
Yeah.
Benching him and then, like, now pushing him out of the building.
Yeah. No, that's basically what's happening here.
But it's like, dude, you oversaw all of this. You okayed all of this, right? You know, so like I'm pretty sure when a GM and a head coach, they try to make some trades or do some stuff, I'm pretty sure the owner has some say in it, right?
I'm trying to think of other names. Eric Bieniemy, he's been one that for years.
Bieniemy for years.
Person I was thinking of was Bengals DC.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Lou, I can't think of his last name.
Don't you have it right there?
Yeah, Anarumo.
Anarumo? You just couldn't pronounce it?
Couldn't pronounce it.
Just do your best, dude. Sound it out.
Anarumo.
There you go.
Bring Bisaccia back.
Bisaccia? I don't think that's going to happen.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
That probably won't happen.
That'd be awesome.
They could hire your boy Wilkes from San Francisco.
He might be looking for a new
want him out.
DC job next year, dude. He's got to figure things out. I mean, we'll get into them a little bit later.
Tony Romo, I'm telling you, he's going to be the next big coach.
Do you really go with that?
No, I hope they don't because I think he's the next Cowboys big coach.
Do you go Dion? I mean, the Raiders are known for splash hires.
They did hire what's his name when he was the youngest coach? Was it Lane Kiffin or no? It's the guy Dennis Allen.
Dennis Allen.
They hired him
but
at 30.
They hired him they fired him like a year and a half later.
Yeah, again,
and he
cycle.
was the one that drafted Carr and Khalil Mack.
Yeah. I don't think Dion leaves college anytime soon.
No.
But I mean, the Raiders though.
Yeah.
In Vegas?
Okay, but I think Dion's smart enough to know a dumpster fire when he sees one.
It is a dumpster fire, 100%.
But he can make the dumpster fire look cool.
It's still a dumpster fire.
He would still bring in so many eyes.
He's gonna throw some sunglasses on it.
You
thought merchandise sales were through the roof. Imagine if Dion went through.
Dion went there?
I mean, are you gonna be bringing in that much more money? You're already in Vegas.
I think when it's an NFL owner, dude, and you see more money.
Primetime deals.
Primetime deals.
So okay. Dion's money.
They are. I mean, was prime time. They're on way more primetime games that they need to be on.
I mean, you see how many people dressed up as Deion Sanders for Halloween?
It's I did see
a lot.
Russell Wilson.
I saw a lot of your boy over there in Miami, the little kid running, bro. I was like, that's a good one.
Saw The Rock dressed up as David Beckham. And it did not look good.
I just saw the backside of that, and I was like, "No way, a soccer jersey should be that big."
No, that was like, that's no way. Like that's what I was like saying. I was like, that's got to be like a large, like a regular shirt, like the way he was wearing it.
Looked like a tattoo was on him so tight.
Yeah, pretty much. But I mean, Dion would honestly be a cool pickup, like to have him in the NFL.
Dion's still got a lot to learn. I mean, Dion was a ton of hype at the beginning of the season, and he's got a losing record right now, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think they're like 4-5 or 3-5 or something like that.
So,
and then you would think that you would go opposite of what you already had, right? With Josh McDaniels being a quote unquote that Patriot way, the offense guy. What if they do bring in an offensive coordinator, but more of like a Sean McVay, Mike McDaniels, Kyle Shanahan, more of like a player's coach, right? Like you would think that
that's what they got right now with Antonio Pierce taking over.
That he was the ex NFL linebacker, so I mean maybe there's something there, but you still have to. I mean, who's calling plays for them right now? Chad Kelly or Chase Kelly or whatever his name is.
Probably the quarterback's coach. I'm thinking.
Well, they had already said it's like going to be Chase Kelly.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was like. I don't even know who he is.
Is
like
he the quarterback's coach? It's usually when the OC gets fired. It's usually it goes down to the quarterback's
coach because he's the one in the year. Yeah. Maybe.
Let's look it up.
Look it up. Who is he?
What's his name? Chase Kelly.
Chase Kelly, Chaz Kelly, Chad Kelly, something Kelly. Because I thought for a second they said.
Think of this.
I think for a second they said Chip Kelly.
No.
And I was like, whoa.
Kelly.
Yeah. But, I mean, it's still going to be the same offense there. It's still going to be the same scheme and everything.
Well, Antonio today said he's all, I'm not dumb. He's all, you get your ball players the ball. He's all, that's what we're gonna do.
Get it to Devontae.
Yeah,
get it to Devontae. You get Hunter more involved. I mean, they already shipped out Darren Waller, but that young tight end, he didn't.
The sad part is, I guess teams were hitting up not only the Raiders but the Bucks for Evans, and then the Raiders for Adams, and they said no one would answer. Like there's no contact. Yeah. So I think the Raiders were dealing with the whole, like, they're probably meeting about firing him, and they just ignored everybody.
Really, dude?
Yeah. I guess
That's
the teams.
insane.
I guess the Jets reached out to the Raiders. That was the story.
For Devontae?
Yeah, and no one answered. I guess they reached out also to the Bucks for Evans, and no one answered.
That's another big story.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers looking a little healthier. So,
Who was the offensive coordinator that they fired?
Mick Lombardi.
Yeah.
Okay. Still on their website as him.
Okay.
But they
Wow.
got Antonio Pierce as the interim head
As the
coach.
interim head coach.
Scott
Scott
Upton.
Turner was the passing coordinator.
That's Nora Turner's son.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
The-
North
from
Turner,
the
yeah.
Chargers?
Um,
Oh, yeah, and then when
Matt
he was
Lombardi, offensive assistant and wide receivers coach.
So that's the brother of Mick Lombardi. So he's still on staff.
Offensive assistant Fred Walker. Interim offensive coordinator Bo Hardgree.
Oh, well, I was way off.
Hardagree.
Yeah.
That guy looks like he is coaching football.
But
Looked like he couldn't get past.
so yeah,
junior
I mean,
college.
where do you go from here now? I mean, like you said, like how do you break the cycle? I mean,
You have to get it right at some level, whether it's at the GM position picking players or whether it's with your head coach.
Mhm.
Something has to at least click.
that
hire
is
Tom
weird.
Brady as your GM. Just give him
You
all
think
the
he
reins.
would do
Honestly, like he was trying to buy like a percentage of the Raiders like earlier this year.
I think that would be really cool for him. But I mean, he's also got like the Fox analyst thing where they were going to pay him like 30-some billion
but
a
he,
year.
I
he
don't
wants to
think
get
he's-
into ownership.
I don't
though.
think he's in for the money. I mean, Tom Brady is pretty well off. Like
Yeah.
he don't need no more
He'll
money.
be fine.
Yeah.
He's not going to be
So,
scrambling
I
to
think-
pay the light bill.
I think Mark Davis could give him a good chunk of chains. And if you're Mark Davis, you're like, look, who's not going to want to come play for Tom Brady?
That'd be dope.
He's
I
not
mean-
going to be on the field coaching, but he'll be there for
And
relations.
there's a good amount of
He'll be able to bring in some guys that want to be involved with Tom Brady.
right. There's a good amount of GMs who are former players. That would make sense. I mean, that would be the most lucrative one. But
Could
I mean,
be.
but then at that point, then who's your head coach? Who puts it all together? Right?
I don't know. No. How many more guys do you think will get fired by the end of the year, or at the end of the year?
Staley needs to be fired.
Staley is the next
over?
one.
Is it over under 4.5 coaches?
You know,
I think under.
if
I
Kellen,
think under.
I think
Last
under.
year, I think it was a quarter of the league went. It was 8 coaches. I think.
Yeah, but then the
dude,
thing is
there's not that many coaches out there though.
this year there's not that many like a blatant coaches that you would say like we're going to go ahead and we're going to fire him, because if you look at teams that are bad, I mean, Arizona just hired their head coach.
Okay, I got.
The
one.
Panthers just hired their head coach.
What about Jim Schwartz in Cleveland, the DC? But everybody wants to go offense, huh?
Everybody wants to go offense, but I mean, and if you switch it up and go defense, because you had
Go against the grain.
you had
Because
Josh
you need a
McDaniels.
defensive guy, especially
Yeah.
in that division with Herbert, Wilson, and
Yeah.
Mahomes.
But how many defensive minded coaches actually win a Super Bowl?
I mean, it doesn't happen
Belichick was the
often.
only one, but
Yeah.
he had Brady.
And then that's another thing too, where the whole Patriot way, it's becoming more and more obvious now that it's the Tom Brady way.
Yes.
Is it Steve Spagnuolo's the DC in Kansas City? Their defense is decent.
Yes, he was a head coach at one point.
Yeah.
You also got Matt Nagy, who's out there. He was the
Oh,
head
he's
coach.
he's the
OC
yeah.
in Kansas City. So I mean, there's options, but it's just like you said, it's just making the right decision and hiring the right guy,
It's a tough one.
and then being patient with him too.
Yeah. Give
You
him
only
time.
you only gave Josh a year and a half
Yeah.
into
all
a
you
6-year contract.
You know, if Kellen Moore was having a much better season this year, I think he could have had some decent head coaches positions.
I could have sworn that
Hey.
that Dallas job was lined up.
What
for
about
him.
Dan Quinn?
Oh God, let's not talk about this. Let's not talk about this.
What if they want to? Because he had a chance to leave,
He
right?
did.
Last year?
Yeah, but I think Dan Quinn sees the team that he has, the defense that he has, and that this is his best opportunity to win a Super Bowl right now. And I mean,
But this is a
But
very
Dan
big.
Quinn trying to get paid.
Hey, this is a
dude.
big ego league. Like guys want to go get their own. You know.
yeah, but I think a lot of the 28-3 hangs over his head. Like it's one of the biggest chokes, and it's his name on that.
He just won't let it go.
He just want Dan Quinn.
That
No,
that
no.
defense is going to be legit with or without Dan Quinn. Let's be
I don't know,
real.
man. I don't know.
When you have a guy like Michael Parsons, I think your defense will be okay. Right?
Yeah.
As long as you lock that guy down.
but those
He's not
guys,
going anywhere.
those guys love playing for Dan Quinn.
And then they'll love playing for the next
I
guy.
don't
They
know, man.
love playing football.
We saw this happen with Bisaccia, right? I mean, he can't. They love playing for him, and then look at the team now.
So what you're saying is no one likes playing for McCarthy.
You're not far off there, buddy.
Oh,
You're not far
interesting.
off.
So
the game
so-
has evolved, and Mike McCarthy has not evolved.
Okay,
you see
so-
how many times Dak Prescott threw that ball against the Rams? Look at the offense.
Okay, so let
Significantly
me
better.
ask you this then: if hypothetically, okay,
Mm-hmm.
Cowboys they run out the season, they take the number 1, number 2 seed or whatever,
Oh, don't
They
get him
don't-
excited.
they don't get past their first playoff game. At that point, do you fire Mike McCarthy, and then you give Dan Quinn the head coaching job? Because that kind of seems like that's more or less what Cowboy fans want.
Yeah, I think the easy answer is yes. I think the better answer is why did we settle for Mike McCarthy calling plays? I think teams need a good just manager, and I feel like Mike McCarthy is a decent manager. How he turned out to be the play caller, I really don't know.
I mean, you pushed your scapegoat out the door,
Kellen Moore,
Kellen Moore,
yeah. Well, and then I mean,
and now the responsibility
there-
falls on him.
Things were working when Kellen Moore was the coach or was the OC, right? I mean, back-to-back 13.
Yeah. I mean, Dak. He made Dak Prescott look
Yes.
better than what he
Yes,
was.
but
right?
Mike McCarthy has also made blunders. So if he was fired, I wouldn't be surprised. However, we just talked about it. It's slim pickings out there for head coaches. I'd be worried. I would be like, cool,
you
we
think-
got rid
and
of
you
we got
think-
rid of someone who probably was holding us back, but I'd be worried. And then at that point, I'd hope Dan Quinn better be the guy that gets this job.
you would think he'd be the front runner,
Yes, you don't need to hire someone else
You'd
out.
be upset if they hired somebody else.
Yes,
but say they do
only
get past,
if it was Tony Romo. I'm telling you, Tony Romo's going to be a great coach one day.
Okay, so say they do get past the first round of the playoffs or whatever. They make it to the divisional round. Maybe they get to the NFC Championship game. I don't know, but they don't make it to the big game. They don't win it all. Do you hang on to Mike McCarthy then?
I think so.
And then,
It just depends. It just depends on why did we not get to the
If
Super
you
Bowl.
win a playoff game, he does enough to hold on to his job. If he doesn't, he's out.
And then Dan Quinn's out.
I don't
He's gonna
think-
go.
I don't
He's
think
gonna
Dan
go,
Quinn's out.
and then
But
he'll
then
go get his head coaching job.
Yeah, but why? If they're gonna fire McCarthy, I think he steps in.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And
But
then
then
he
if
brings in his own.
If
OC.
if Dan Quinn goes to the NFC Championship and loses, and they keep Mike McCarthy, where's he gonna go? That's gonna be another Super Bowl contender the next year.
But I mean, what if he's
no
what if
one
he's
that's
not?
contenders are hiring.
But he's not thinking, because I mean, with coaches, it's different. You don't have to win a Super Bowl right now. It's not like a quarterback where you have a clock on your career, right? He can go and he can still build another team to take him back to the Super Bowl, like he did in Atlanta.
I mean, maybe, but do you really want to just restart again?
That's what they like to do.
Those guys are so entrenched in what they do.
They're
that-
different, man.
that they want a lot of head coaches
How long?
they go a second time around to try to get over that hump.
Look
to
at
try-
Sean.
Yeah.
Well, I think this is his second time over the hump. How long?
no, as a head coach, not as a coordinator.
How long was he in Atlanta before he left? After the Super Bowl?
I think he was there for maybe like another 4 years. I think it was like 4 or 5 years.
I think
was there in
he's
Atlanta.
trying to write it out.
I mean,
He's trying to go back.
The thing is, look at Sean. Look at Sean and how long he was there after he won the Super Bowl with New Orleans. And then he left and he went to go start over somewhere else.
Well, no, he didn't. He left and went into retirement, and then got an offer he couldn't refuse.
No,
came back.
I think he legit was trying to go somewhere else. I think the Cowboys spot was the one he was eyeing. 100%.
He was still coaching, wasn't he? McCarthy got hired in what year? 20?
I think it was that same year that he retired. Yeah, because he was there in New Orleans, and then they had the whole issues with the cap space and everything. I think head coaches they don't tie themselves down to one franchise. They're trying to etch their name in history, but they want to make
a lot
it
of those
theirs.
coaches have been with 4 or 5 different teams.
Yeah,
so.
dude. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we could talk about head coaches all day.
All day.
Let's go ahead. Let's stay on format and let's talk about this past week's games. And out of all the games, which one would you guys say was your game of the week? Your favorite game?
Cowboys.
The Cowboys killed the Rams. I'll give you that. They did make them look horrendous.
I guess seeing Kansas City look abysmal,
They look bad.
that was
I expected more of them at the trade deadline. I really thought they'd go after a receiver.
I told you guys though, nobody
Maybe
does
they
anything.
try and maybe
Everybody's like scared. Everybody would rather see a guy get cut, and then they'll go pick him off the waiver wire. That's what they do now.
But I mean, what
You don't want to trade assets away. You don't want to give up draft picks
Yeah, but I mean,
unless you're Washington.
Yeah.
Like you're trading away dudes.
I mean, they pretty much.
The Bears were buyers. The Bears.
But they
Well,
were
they
also trying to be sellers,
Yeah, at the same time.
right? So,
But I mean, they got Sweat, and then they said we're not going to get rid of Johnson. It's so weird. That doesn't make any sense to me.
I think we look too much like outside of the league. We look too much into this whole tanking thing, and let's be real. I mean,
I think the only reason why Chicago's buyers is because they have 2 top 5 picks right now.
I mean, because you're still trying to build your defense too, right?
Yeah, I mean
Like,
that kind of makes sense to me. You get 2 defensive guys or a defense guy and a receiver next year in the drafts. You get Harrison Jr.
you still have DJ Moore there.
Yeah, I mean that would help out big time.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just I think we look too much into this whole tanking thing and thinking teams were going to tank for an unproven guy, right? Like, I mean, how many times? I mean, when's the last time we've seen a first overall pick like really completely change a franchise around? Like, I mean, even Trevor Lawrence struggled, right? And everybody say he was a whole generational talent.
I would think he's turning that franchise around though.
But like quick.
But quick. I mean, it took him a while, and then it
took him
also
a year.
took him getting
The second
a whole
year he made the playoffs.
Second year. Well, I think
But it's also
Did Cam-
too with the new head coach.
Cam Newton do that the second year, third year.
Not
he
the
took
second year. It took him a little while
The
too.
second or third year he took off.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
Andrew Luck maybe.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he came into a situation where he
They were really
was
bad.
surrounded.
Yeah.
No, but like
Well,
defensively,
Brock Purdy.
he was surrounded.
But no, I'm saying like a number 1 overall pick.
Oh, I'm sorry.
like
I'm sorry.
like a guy that you go.
For a second, I thought we were just talking
Like
about rookies.
just rookies. Like a guy who was like, oh, this guy's going to be the
Well, shout
savior.
out to Bryce Young. He finally got his first win Sunday.
Yeah, against CJ Stroud.
The
Even-
rookies going at it.
By
But-
the way, Tua 6-0 all time. Only
Against the Patriots.
against
Yeah.
Bill.
I-
No other person has ever done that.
I
Just
like
saying.
it, dude. I like
Golf clap.
that Bill's looking the way he's looking right now.
And then
Tom Brady.
if
It
we're
just-
recapping,
It's kind of nice just to watch Bill struggle, right?
if we're recapping
Kinda.
games, I want to just like talk about how I told you guys that the Giants got played and should have won that game on Sunday. You
I don't want
disagree?
I don't want to talk about it. No, I don't. I don't disagree.
Okay.
I agree with you 100%. Well, how is that setting the ball?
Okay, so
That's terrible call.
But you're still
If-
salty
if-
about what happened 2 years ago.
But that's the same rule.
if you have no clue what we're talking about right now, I'm talking about Jets and Giants. Time's running out.
Mm-hmm.
Jets throw a ball across the middle. The rule is the referee has to set and place the ball for the next
He's
player
got
to
to be
run.
the one that spotted it.
Yes, he has to spot the ball. The center grabs the ball from the receiver, puts it down. The referee looks. It's kind of iffy if he touches the ball or not.
He looks like he gives it like a little slap,
like a little tap.
Lets him get a snap off and spikes
and then
the
he
ball.
bails out of there with 1 second left.
Yeah, and the Jets have enough time to tie the game, go into overtime, and win it.
2 years ago, the Cowboys do something very similar, and our
In
center
the
grabs
playoffs.
Our center grabs the ball.
Who was
the
it
ref against the Niners?
Yes.
The ref comes, asks for the ball. Center gives him the ball. He moves it a half an inch to the side, sets the ball down. If that happens with the Jets, they don't have enough time to spike
No,
that
they
ball.
don't.
Game's over.
They shouldn't have.
So
The
I agree
ref
with you.
should have literally placed the ball, grabbed it.
Yes,
And
I
set
agree
it.
with you 1,000%. The Jets should not have been able to tie that game.
No.
but it was also the game of punts and
Yeah.
boring game all the way through up until the very last
battle of
minute.
mid.
Yeah, dude. It was an interesting finish, interesting game, but it's just the Giants are absolutely horrendous. They're pretty bad.
The Jets are just
And
hanging
the Jets are
around.
just hanging there. I mean,
They're above 500
I
or
don't-
at 500.
I
aren't
don't
they?
know.
It's that meme. What do you do? Who, me?
Just hanging around.
Dude, they're 4-3. They're a
Beetle-
game
with-
behind Buffalo.
Dude, oh my goodness.
With Beetlejuice, dude. Beetlejuice, my boy, dude. He's absolutely hilarious. But I mean,
Dude, if the season ended today,
They're in, right?
They're in the
in.
playoffs.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Let's talk about San Francisco. What's going on up there, bro?
okay. I mean, I don't want to go to.
I'm going to watch the World Series while you vent.
I'm not gonna vent like how every time like the Cowboys take a fart, this guy comes in hot right away.
You ask me questions and I answer.
with his 30-minute thesis statement about the Cowboys losing. I mean,
Hurry up. You're on the clock.
our defensive coordinator is not as good as what we had in the past.
Okay.
Obviously, I mean Salah and Ryans, they're both NFL head
And now
coaches
they're
doing
head
their
coaches,
thing,
yeah.
and they're winning games too. They're not just slapdicks, losing games like how when the Patriots coaching tree, the Bill Belichick coaching tree was
Falls
when they
apart.
they fall apart. They're winning games. So I think we were kind of spoiled for a little bit. This is Wilkins or whatever his name is. His first year as
To be
DC.
fair, though, San Francisco always hits this wall early on in the year, right?
This is what I was
No,
expecting.
normally it's early.
early,
It's
though.
right away. This is what I
They
was
got
expecting
hot first this year.
out of the gate.
That's what's different.
Yeah.
And then they tailed
and
off.
they hit
They're
this
kind of
wall.
like Joe Burrow, right? Slow out the gate and they figure it out.
and then
Yeah.
they
This is in
rattle
the
off
middle of
8,
the
9,
season.
10 wins. Yeah.
This is kind of almost mirroring kind of what what happened to the Chiefs last year, where they started off hot. Remember, they hit the middle of the wall. They were like teetering on the edge of like being 500, and then they put like a stretch of like 4 or 5 games together and took it, and then got into the playoffs.
So you think after this bye week, it'll be good for them? They come out.
They'll settle in. We have some injuries. The Chase Young acquisition.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's good for the rest of the year. Like I think it's big to help.
But I feel like you said it. DB was more of a necessity.
I feel like they tried to go DB,
Big
and from
time.
what I heard, that they didn't get what they wanted, or they couldn't reach a
Well,
deal.
the Giants had we're gonna send Adoree Jackson.
I guess the Giants said no.
No, well, they said they failed to submit the paperwork to the NFL before the deadline.
Oh, see,
Because
Well,
that's
there
what
you
the
go.
reports were coming out, right?
Yeah.
The Niners weren't done after
Yeah.
Young.
After Young, exactly.
And
So
then someone,
so
yeah,
they
sent it out.
they said the second best was okay. Let's give the quarterback less time. Then let's give Bosa
Oh, yeah?
some help, because Bosa, he's not been playing the way he normally does, but he's still like top 5 in.
That's a ridiculous
quarterback
line.
pass
you got
rush.
Bosa, you got Chase Young, you got Kinlaw, you got
We still got
Armstead.
Gregory, Armstead, and Hargraves.
oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean it's a
Not to
ridiculous
mention-
defensive line.
Yeah, the linebacking core led
Yeah.
by Fred
Yeah.
Warner.
So like that, I'm expecting let's take away the run like we normally do, which we didn't against the Bengals. We didn't run the ball like we normally do because I mean McCaffrey only had like 50 yards. Where Brock Purdy outrushes McCaffrey, it's a problem,
yeah,
right? And so
Or when
then
he gets his,
and then Purdy
helmet
made
knocked off.
yeah. And then Purdy made a couple of mistakes. Every quarterback makes mistakes.
Is it that concussion lingering? Huh?
You notice a lot of his, I think 2 or 3 of his interceptions now to linebackers.
I heard a lot of talk about
What's throws over the middle where
Throws over the middle.
when Tua was playing bad. It was it's the concussions. It's the concussions.
yeah.
Well, they probably were his concussions.
So-
Yeah,
that
but
that dude
loud.
had to have been cussed for
Hey,
half
some
the
of
season.
but now it's like, is it happening to Purdy?
So what I think is like I think also defenses are starting to get better and watching a little bit more film on him because some of these throws that he was making early in his career where he was like dunking them like right over the top of the linebackers and underneath the safeties, those are the ones he has interceptions on. And I feel like now they're starting to get, okay, now you have to cover the high hole. They're telling their linebackers, drop
They figured
deeper.
it out. They usually second year is like where that sophomore.
They have that
slump.
sophomore
Yeah.
slump. Yeah, I think he'll figure it out. I think he'll put things together.
Just got to make adjustments.
Yeah, so I'm not worried about the Niners. I know
Not yet.
I don't think anybody out there is really worried about them because, and then they haven't got waxed like certain somebody over here.
Yeah.
You know, against
They
and you guys too. I mean, the Dolphins got waxed too
They did,
against the
but
Bills,
I mean
right?
that's normal, right? Everybody
Everybody gets waxed.
No, but yeah, but everyone's been saying that they can't beat good teams. So
But
Right. So I mean, we'll
So-
see. we'll see what happens.
Are we good with the recap then?
From the week, yeah. I mean, that was it. I mean, if you guys want to get into surprise performances.
Before we get into surprise performances, Bruce Bochy, the GOAT.
Another one?
Just won his 4th World Series championship.
Nice. Good for him. But
baseball season's over.
Yeah.
Baseball, I text you today.
NFL's on, baby.
Baseball season ends today.
So,
College basketball season Monday. Let's go.
Let's do it.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, let's check on the Lakers. See if
they're
disappointing.
So let's talk about the games this week. Obviously, the marquee matchup, and we don't get it in the United States of America. Germany gets to have it.
What time is this? Like at
6:30.
7 a.m.?
6:30.
Oh, man, dude.
So we get
on a
Chiefs
Sunday?
Dolphins at 6:30 in the morning.
We're just going to have to watch the recording. Just watch it back.
No,
Are you going to wake up that early?
I'm gonna try. Well, we'll see how the
not
Fresno
I
State
have to find
goes.
the Boise
happening.
game goes.
I gotta be at work at 5:30, bro. It's gonna be tough.
Jesus Christ.
So we'll
It's
see.
gonna be tough.
We'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's another test for Miami to see if they can finally prove anybody wrong. You know,
And then it's a bounce back game for the Chiefs. So
he just got embarrassed. So
I mean, who knows? Right?
Mahomes' first game without a touchdown in like
maybe
2-3 years.
and then
or
maybe this is where they get to their little slump, right? Because maybe like every playoff team, they go through a little slump. They knew somewhere in the year, and then they figure it out and they turn it around. Maybe this is where their little slump starts, right?
who?
The Chiefs.
Oh yeah, but then they go. I think both teams go into the bye week after this week. So
And so maybe they take that
yeah.
chance to just go ahead and settle in.
you either
turn
go
it
in
around.
limping or you get a good win and you come out stronger out of the bye.
I'm excited. The only thing is that Kansas City defense, man. I mean, they're still pretty good. They gave up. Yeah, of course, they gave up 21 points to the Broncos.
But that 21 points should be nothing for Mahomes.
Right, exactly. He should put up more. Right.
He rattles off 21 in a quarter.
Yeah. And so, I think it's going to be a cool matchup. It's going to be cool. It's going to be cool to see Tyreek. See
It
what
would
he
have been
does.
like he said it this week. It would have been fun to see like him going back to KC.
To Arrowhead.
Yeah, but it is what it is, you know.
Mhm.
Interesting little bit of information. The Dolphins have been there since Monday night, right?
Good.
The Chiefs aren't leaving until tomorrow after their practice,
Oh.
so they won't
Not
fly
good.
in.
Not
They won't
good.
get They won't fly in until
It'll
they leave
be-
tomorrow night. Friday afternoon is when they get there.
So for them,
They're only staying there Friday and Saturday.
it'll be like Saturday afternoon by the time
They get
Nah.
adjusted.
they get adjusted,
And they still
get
have to
in.
go. Apparently, like they even said, like they're gonna fly in and still do like a light practice.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
like,
they kinda
Jesus,
fucked-
bro.
They might have fucked
This
up.
isn't good. This isn't good.
So,
I'm taking the Dolphins on that one.
That's
Then
that's
we
my,
saw this happen to the Bills.
my
I
bit of
might take the
information.
Dolphins on that
Well, they
one.
asked McDaniel about it. He's like, no, we need to get adjusted, our body
Good.
clocks and everything.
Smart.
So I'm like, oh, he's
Yeah.
taking it serious.
He probably ran all the way to
Yeah, yeah.
to Germany.
So we'll see how that game goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
What
I
other
don't,
games we
I
got?
don't think that's the biggest game of the week, though.
Oh, Bills.
That's not
Bengals?
the biggest game of the week either.
Oh, Eagles. Cowboys.
Eagles, Cowboys.
That's what I was gonna say. That's probably the
Well,
biggest one.
I think every window has a marquee matchup. So you get Chiefs, or you got Dolphins, Chiefs in the morning. You got Ravens, Lions at 10 a.m. The 1 o'clock game is Dallas and Philly, and then the night game.
the Bengals or the
Yeah.
Bengals and the
Bills
Bills.
and Bengals.
Mhm.
Yeah, Ravens, Seahawks.
Which
That's-
honestly-
Seahawks, Ravens, Seahawks.
And so I mean, honestly, it's on it for all teams involved. It's going to be a good measuring stick to see how
Well, yeah,
you
'cause
compete
it's all-
against good teams.
You think about it, it's all teams with winning records and at the top of their conferences.
Right, and then all teams that are, I guess you can say Super Bowl contenders, right?
You,
to at least
and
get
you
to
could
the big
say
game.
like this game means like these could be tiebreakers at the end of the year. So
Mhm.
like
Hey,
whoever wins,
these are really important games.
yeah,
yeah.
So
yeah. And then you got Monday Night Football.
oh,
Jets, Chargers.
The Bandul said league. Yeah. I mean, big injuries. The big injury, Kirk Cousins. I mean,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
we didn't talk about that.
That's
That kind of hurt, bro, to see that happen. I felt bad. I felt really bad.
that one hurt more, I think, than the Rodgers one.
Yes.
I would say.
I felt
It's a
bad
contract year
because,
for him.
because he was quite literally putting Minnesota
the team
on his back.
He was balling out.
He was
he put on his
like
Achilles.
Just too much weight, dude, and that
Too
thing
much
just
weight.
snapped.
I mean, he was slinging that ball. He was getting some decent come from behind wins.
And then they
a few
come in-
losses, but you know,
with the steal of the century and get Josh Dobbs.
highly anticipated.
We wasted so much
replacement.
time. The three of us wasted so much time trying to figure out who the right
who they were
replacement
gonna bring
was.
Yeah.
And then they took Josh Dobbs.
You said Winston. I said Colt
Colt
McCoy.
Yeah.
I say Trey Lance.
Trey Lance.
Yeah.
And then they go in.
Josh Dobbs.
We're going to bring
They
in
pull
Dobbs.
up. They pull up. Just Josh Dobbs just sitting there.
We're like, that's it.
Oh, dude.
man.
Uh,
Damn it.
yeah.
Hey,
Hop
so
in
what?
the Uber,
Okay,
go home.
so I have a question for you guys. What does Justin Jefferson do? Does he take his time coming back,
I take my time coming
take
back.
my time
Hell
coming
yeah.
back.
or do you come back
Nope.
right away?
No, sir.
They're in the. Are they in the playoffs right now? If the season
Yes.
ended, they're 7, right? They're the 7th seed.
Yeah.
So they're just like the Jets. They're teetering around.
They're hanging in there. They're right there. But he's also got an injury to his throwing hand, right?
Dobbs?
No, Justin Fields.
Oh yeah, his thumb, right?
It's his thumb, right?
Yeah.
On his.
Wait,
like,
when
his
did we
dislocated-
transition to Fields?
I don't know.
I think. Did you just say Justin Fields?
No, Justin Jefferson.
Justin
I'm saying-
Jefferson.
I'm talking about
Oh.
like when does he come back? Do you decide to come back
I
sooner,
thought
later?
You said Justin
or-
Fields.
No.
That's my bad.
I was like, whoa, wait.
Yeah, I was way off then.
No, I was just
Um,
asking like, do you take your time
Oh,
coming
wait.
back, or do
Take
you,
my time. You're
you
not,
see if your team
you're-
wins a couple games?
You're,
you know?
you're not doing anything with Dobbs.
Because it's a hamstring injury, right?
You're not doing anything with Dobbs.
I mean, he's competent enough. He did beat the Cowboys. Just saying. But it was also a bunch of like
Oh, yeah.
dinks and dunks and screens and stuff. So he's a competent quarterback. He's not
get the job done.
terrible.
But is he
He's-
going to go out there and win you a playoff
He's
game?
pretty equivalent to what they had with Teddy Bridgewater, right?
No, I think Teddy's a little bit better.
A little bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of messed up how they treated the whole situation in Arizona, because they had asked him like, is Dobbs going to start this week? Because Kyler's not ready, right? He just started practicing.
Well, they traded for him from Cleveland, right? At the beginning of this year.
Oh,
The Cardinals.
yeah, for Dobbs.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying like they were asking the head coach like who's going to start this
Uh-huh.
week, like kind of insinuating like what's going to happen with
Oh,
Dobbs, and he was
okay.
like, oh, the rookie's going to start, and everybody's like, what's wrong with Dobbs? Little did we know they're
He was
They were
already
shipping him
they're
out.
already sending him out.
Did you see the video he made? This was early in the season about him trying to, like, he had family coming to the game. So he went to their little store, their team
Oh, for
store
his jersey?
at the stadium for his jersey. And you can customize jerseys, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you can go in there and pick any player, any size. They didn't have his name in the system. He couldn't get jerseys for his
Well, now
family.
for sure they don't have it.
Now for
Oh,
sure.
man. It's pretty brutal, man, when you go somewhere and then you get treated like that. Maybe he wanted out. Maybe he was just
I didn't
like, "Just get me
realize.
outta here."
I didn't realize they were 1-7.
Yeah,
Like,
they're pretty bad.
They're really
pretty
like-
bad.
But they're not that bad, though.
They hung around.
Their one win is against the Cowboys, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
but they hung around some games.
But
Maybe
they've been toe to toe with the Eagles. They've been toe to toe with a couple other like legit teams.
they had the Giants on the ropes.
They did, and then
And then the
had, like,
Giants
a-
came
a
back. The
comeback.
big old, the big
Greatest
old
comeback in Giants history, right
Yeah.
there. That's like one of their. They got two
So
wins.
do we say the T word? Are they?
Tanking?
Yeah. Who they got this week? The Browns, right?
Yeah, let's see. It's pulling up right now. So they have Atlanta
got-
or the Browns,
no, yes.
and then they have Atlanta next week. I mean, they lost by a score against the Ravens. They lost by 10 against the Seahawks. Lost by 2 scores against the Bengals. I guess they got beat pretty good against the Rams. Got pretty good against the Niners. They beat the Cowboys, and then again, yeah, they had the Giants on the ropes, and then they lost to the Commanders. So I mean, they were in games, but it's still the NFL, right?
I don't think they're getting blown out like the Giants are getting blown out. The Jets, the Panthers.
Not like the Giants, yeah, or the Panthers.
They're. I mean, if this team was a playoff team next year, I wouldn't really be surprised.
Now that
I
they
think-
bring everybody together, you have Kyler
I
healthy.
think there's actually a lot more good things happening there than bad things. And I think Josh Dobbs is one of the weakest links there.
I think the Vikings should have been a little bit more aggressive, trying to get a quarterback. I feel like they could have. They could have made some moves. I feel like Trey Lance would have been better than Dobbs.
I think I said it. I'm going to stick by it. There wasn't any quarterbacks out there that's going to win you a Super Bowl, so why go after him?
But then why give up too? You know. Then that's the thing too. Is then now are the Vikings going to tank with Dobbs?
They're in the playoffs right now. There's no way they tank, and they're not in like some like division that's gonna blow them away. They're literally playing against the
mean-
Bears, who don't have Justin
yeah, but
Fields.
they're not going to catch the Lions.
Well, they could still catch a wild card spot though.
Okay, but then let's break down the NFC. Okay, there's 2 teams coming out the East. Okay, so either
There's gonna
Cowboys
be-
or Eagles.
There's going to be 2 teams coming out of the East and probably 2 teams coming out of the West.
Yes.
Let's not overlook Seattle.
That leaves one team
To have that wild
to come
card.
out of the North or the South.
So
Or
it's not gonna be the South.
or Stafford does Stafford things and 3 teams come out the West.
Isn't he hurt though?
He's got
some hand issues.
it's a thumb. It's
Yeah.
a high sprain on his
Yeah.
thumb. But isn't it? It is his throwing thumb. But they're on bye week this week, aren't they?
Oh no, but isn't that injury gonna kind of?
It's going to linger. It's going to linger over the coming weeks.
He still did fine even with it. I mean, they took him out
Yeah.
like 2 drives later, but they were getting waxed. They weren't going to win the game, so no point in getting hurt even more.
The thing is you have to put a stretch of games together, which
Yeah.
let me look at their schedule. So
All right, let's get. Do we want to do picks? Start Thursday night while you
then
look
we
that
go.
up.
Well, looking at their schedule right now, they have Atlanta, New Orleans, Broncos, Bears, Raiders, Bengals, Lions,
So they could get on a
Packers,
run.
Lions.
That's the Rams. Or
Well,
who's that for?
No, who the
Vikings?
The Vikings.
Oh, the Vikings. Yeah, they could get on a run. I sent it to you guys. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
it's
is, like,
winnable games.
They're
There's-
winnable games. And then that's another thing too is like how soon does Jefferson come back? Does he? I mean,
I think if they win like 2 straight, he's like, all right.
he's like, okay,
good.
I'm healthy.
I'm in.
Let's go. Let's do it.
And who do the Rams got?
The Rams, they got.
Packers this week,
Mm-hmm.
then Seattle, 2 weeks after that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Packers bye week, then Seattle, Cardinals, Browns, Ravens, Commanders, Saints, Giants, Niners.
So I mean,
It's not easy. It's not difficult
both
either.
teams have tough schedules,
Yeah.
but I think it's who's got the more competent quarterback
I'm taking Stafford.
and
any
who's
day.
got the better head coach.
What's the records? We got
So
They're one
3
game
and
back.
The Rams are 3-5.
and the Vikings
Four
are
and
4 and
4
4.
and 4. Yeah.
I could see the Rams finishing better than the Vikings.
I think so. I don't think the Vikings will make a run. I mean, Josh Dobbs, again, not taking away anything from him. I think he's a good quarterback, but it's not like Kirk Cousins was there winning games like crazy, right? Their defense was still
You guys say the
giving
Rams
up all kinds of points.
sneak in there over the Vikings then?
I think so.
Yeah,
I'll take the Vikings just because they.
Maybe if Kirk Cousins was healthy, then okay, I'd maybe switch my mind. But
I think they do just enough though. So there's always that weird team that gets in. So
Yeah, but they do just enough with Kirk Cousins, not Josh Dobbs.
I believe in Dobbs. He beat the Cowboys.
He didn't beat the Cowboys.
all right, let's go ahead. Let's get into next week's.
All right, so then we got Steelers and Titans tomorrow night.
Yes, we do. Which the pesky
doozy.
Steelers, man. I mean, they're winning games they shouldn't be winning, but then now Will Levis is out there and he's slinging the ball.
Yeah, let's see how that works
He's
tomorrow.
putting
with Joey
mayonnaise
Porter
all over
Jr.
that ball, dude, and he's just slinging it down the field,
Yeah.
hitting D-Hop on double moves
Yeah,
and
we're gonna
stuff.
have T.J. Watt bearing down. So
You should have grabbed D-Hop while you had a chance.
he
but
had one good game.
Just wait, yeah, he's
Yeah,
just
got-
one good game. Jay Cutler,
he's got a new quarterback now, buddy.
I'm still
He's gonna be torching up
the mayonnaise man.
I'm still gonna go Steelers on this.
Yeah, I'm
one.
gonna go Steelers.
Let's go Titans on the road.
Let's say you believe in
Okay.
him.
Let's go
go,
Titans on the
Believe in
road.
him? You believe in Will Levis? Or you
I believe in D-Hop.
D-Hop. That's what I was gonna
D-Hop.
ask.
I need a good game from D-Hop. I put him in my lineup just
Put
for
him
you.
in some good juju, huh?
Yes, sir.
See.
What do we got? Sunday night
The Sunday night game, yeah, the Bengals and the Bills.
Bengals.
Bengals.
I'm gonna go Bengals.
Oh, we
we
jinxed
just swooped
them.
them. I can switch mine,
No, let's see what
No, no,
happens.
no, you guys
last
are
week
good.
we all picked the Chargers and it worked.
and it worked out.
We all
and then
picked the Lions,
Lions.
yeah.
It worked out. Yeah.
I saw a little something out of Burrow. He finally looks like
I feel he
that-
looks
he's
like
looking a little bit better.
his better self,
He's
and I
looking
think
a little bit better.
And I think the Bengals defense, kind of like they did last year, they're starting to put things together.
And they have
Like,
the Bills number. Doesn't it
They
feel
do.
like
They
they beat
do.
them in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, last year.
And then
Uh-huh.
last year the game got shut down. But
in the regular season, yes.
is he gonna
Yes.
play
No,
Who?
like at all this year?
I don't think so.
He played one snap again.
I don't
DeMar
think
Hamlin.
Oh, we talked about this last week, right?
Yeah,
He was teetering on the edge, anyways, before his little accident.
yeah. So I don't know, but yeah, Bengals. I'll take the Bengals.
Maybe he plays this game.
Good.
It is in Cincinnati.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then
Isn't that where it happened?
the
Yeah.
doozy? Yeah,
Because
it was-
major injuries happen in Cincinnati, right?
Yes.
on primetime games.
Oh, don't jinx that
dude.
going into this game.
No, Josh Allen, you're done for
And
the year.
he didn't practice today.
No.
Josh Allen.
Josh didn't practice today?
No, he's dealing with
What?
that shoulder injury.
Oh.
But I mean, he's always.
Hey, they got
he's
Leonard
gonna-
Fournette.
He's hurt every year.
Is Leonard Fournette going to bring anything to the table?
Playoff Lenny.
Maybe he
I
might
know.
put some stuff together.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
wouldn't put it past them.
So Monday night, who is it? Chargers.
Chargers and Jets.
Justin Herbert can beat the Jets. I'm going to go with the Chargers.
I'm gonna go Jets.
I'm gonna go Jets.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Is it in New York or is it LA?
It's in New York.
yeah,
New York.
It's in New York.
Yeah, New York.
Their game last week was in New York.
Yeah,
New York
but-
versus New York. That
but-
ended 7-10.
But Salah, I feel like he dials his defense. That defense is locked in right now.
That defense is locked in, and I think this is a game that Staley somehow, some way finds a way to lose it.
Yeah, he'll blow it somehow.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pick the other two big games.
Philly,
Let's do
And
the
Dallas.
3 games.
Philly and Dallas, right?
Let's do Dolphins, Chiefs, Ravens, Seahawks.
All right, which one are we going first?
Let's do
Oh,
Dolphins,
Dolphins.
Chiefs.
Let's go to the
Damn,
morning game.
You guys are lucky this week. We're giving you 6 picks.
So you guys bring out those squares, dude. Get your quarters out.
Get your-
If you haven't done
Bingo,
your
bingo,
pick 'em,
bingo.
do not listen to me. So
All right, you brought up a very good point that I'm gonna roll with. Dolphins have been in Germany since Monday. I'm going with that. I'm going with the Dolphins.
I'll go Miami. They finally beat a decent team.
I'm gonna go Chiefs, and I think
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes
Bounces back.
shines bright. Yeah, I think he can definitely put the team on his back, and when him and Travis do the whole backyard football stuff, I think it'll be cool. And
Look,
I think
man,
that Chiefs defense,
you
will
better
hold
hope.
just enough.
You better hope that Taylor Swift is flying out to Germany to
She'll be
watch.
Oh,
Germany,
God.
dude.
Because she wasn't at the games Sunday.
It was terrible.
That Taylor Swift, yeah, yeah, dude. she fucking closes things down in Germany.
Dude, that was good, bro.
That's good, right? Yeah, that's good.
Almost like you were German.
Yeah. All right.
All right, Seahawks, Ravens at Baltimore. I'm going Seahawks.
I'm gonna go Baltimore.
I think
I'm gonna go Baltimore.
I think somehow, some way, Lamar just every once in a while will lose a game that he should win, and I think Seattle's good, but I think this is a game that he should win. That Geno Smith might just creep up on nowhere and get a dub.
I mean, Seattle, they got the pretty good dub against Cleveland last week, right? I mean, it was a
Come
good
from
back and
behind,
forth in Seattle. If this game was in Seattle, I would have gone Seattle, but I think I'm gonna go Baltimore.
Go Baltimore.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's also the whole West Coast teams not
Going
playing
to
that
the
well
East
to the
Coast.
East Coast, so and then
All right. The heavyweight bout: Cowboys at the Eagles.
Philly.
Philly.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
You gonna take Philly?
No, I'm gonna pick the guy who hasn't lost to the Eagles since 2017.
Oh, Dak, huh?
Dak
Dak.
Prescott.
It's cool to finally see them at their full strength.
They're going.
They haven't matched up.
They've never played each other.
Never, right?
Not
Because
never.
last year it was
Dak was out the first one.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
Dak-
then
and
Jalen
Jalen
was out
was
the
out.
second one.
Yeah.
They've
And
never
then
played each other.
Minshew had them on the ropes, though.
he did.
No, okay, first of all,
Oh, here we go.
it was not on the ropes. We were ahead the whole time.
Well, he brought him. What was it? 3-point win though?
No,
Or-
7.1.
Oh, 7-point win.
But
But they
40
got
to
it.
33.
They took a lead at one point.
40
right?
to 33. Yes.
But
they did.
Minshew did have a chance in the red zone to tie the game up and couldn't do it.
And what happened? That defense showed up. It was like that Miami defense against the Chargers. Nowhere
Ben-
to be seen until
Ben
the
don't break, baby.
It's also Gardner Minshew, dude. Like, let's be real.
Hey,
Hey.
everyone. Chris Broussard brought that up today. They beat Gardner Minshew last year, but when they beat Cooper Rush, it wasn't that. No one cared about that. It was they beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
well, it's like we said before, dude. Everybody likes talking shit about the Cowboys.
This is
'cause
true.
What gets views.
okay, so on first take, this is what we can end today. They talked about the NFC. Okay, right now the rankings, power rankings in the NFC are Eagles 1, Niners 2, Cowboys 3, Lions 4. If the Cowboys beat the Eagles, are they now number 1 in the NFC?
No,
Who's number 1 in the NFC?
the Lions.
The Lions.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the way I see it. It's like it's
So
like
you're
you can't
gonna
just-
take the guy that was in 4th place and you're gonna jump him all the way to 1st place because one lost to 3.
No, yeah, because it's just in the NFL we talk about it's all about matchups, right? Just because you beat one team doesn't mean you can
Right.
beat the other team just because they beat that team, right? So it's matchup. Plus, it's a divisional game which both teams, everybody plays up for divisional games, right? All over the league.
Statistically, not the Eagles against Dak Prescott, but okay.
I mean, okay, yeah, I'll give you that. But
I think the winner of this game has to be the number one.
Is the number one
at this point.
But
Chris Broussard was
because the
Niners.
Lions aren't playing this week, so they kind of have to like sit there and like kind of just. Get
And neither are the
bypassed.
Niners.
both the Lions and the Niners are on bye. But I mean, it's like you also can't. The thing is with the Cowboys, you can't lose to Arizona and to the Niners the way they did, and then still call yourself the number one team, the NFC.
But to this point, that's what we're saying. At like this point of the season,
I would still put the Lions over the Cowboys.
Okay.
Because the Lions have.
So you've got you essentially had the Lions moving up 3 places on a bye week because the Cowboys beat the Eagles. And the Cowboys have 2 losses.
Well, you can't just go off the bye week or just the 1 week. I would go off what each team has done consecutively.
Who have the Lions lost to?
They lost to the Ravens.
They got smoked by the Ravens.
To the Ravens. But the Ravens.
And they lost to the Seahawks.
Okay, so then let me play this card for you guys. Are the Jags playing this week?
The Jags are also on a bye.
Okay, so then Jags, Ravens, Chiefs, Dolphins.
Oh, who jumps to number 1?
Who would be the number 1 on the AFC side after this weekend? Would we say whoever wins Chiefs Dolphins is the number 1?
I would
not if
or you
the
think
Ravens
win. If the Ravens win, you put them at the top.
Yes, because I think those 2 will cancel each other out. Chiefs Dolphins.
Okay.
I think I would agree. I think
we get Dolphins Ravens.
I think it would depend on how if the Ravens win and how they win too. I think so. And if they
dominate the Seahawks, then you put them.
They have to be number 1.
If it's a close game and Miami wins by 14 or the Chiefs win by 14, then I'm going with the winner of that game.
Yeah.
I guess it's just whoever wins by the biggest margin between the Ravens and then the Dolphins Chiefs.
Okay.
Yeah. But that's a good one. And then that's what you wanted to close out with the first take stuff, or were you talking?
Yeah, because they talked about that, and Nick Wright had the winner of the Cowboys Eagles game should be the number 1, and then. So did the third guy. I forgot his name. And Chris Broussard said for sure the Niners.
Yeah.
And it was like, how did the Niners
lost 3 straight?
How did the Niners have 0 wins in more than a month and move up to the number 1 team in the NFC? He's like,
they wouldn't deserve it.
Yeah, he's like, oh well, if the Cowboys win and the Niners have their number, by far it has to be the Niners. And it was like, hold on, wait a second, hold on.
Like that's the thing is like that's the whole point of like these matchups is like you can't rank based off the matchups. You kind of have to rank based off what each individual team has done to this point, right? And which I feel like the Lions have done more in the NFC to prove, other than the Eagles, to prove that they should be at the top right now. But I mean, and then that's depending if the Eagles end up losing to the Dallas,
right?
Which I don't think is going to happen. So, we'll see. Anything else? You guys want to close it out with that?
Yeah.
Another good one, dude. Let's bring it home.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Smash that like and subscribe button so German can hype up those numbers to us again before we start recording.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Pumped you out, didn't it?
We got a triple-digit viewership. Love to see it.
Yeah, dude. All right.
All right, everybody.
See you guys.
Peace.